Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be covering everything you missed in the market last week and why we all need to be ready for the death of software stocks. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Brian. I'm a former investment banker with a Master of Science in Finance and an unhealthy obsession with the stock market, and my goal is to help you grow your net worth and invest with confidence. On this channel, we cover everything from how to build and manage an investment portfolio to picking individual stocks and ETFs and much, much more. And once a week, I make videos like this one to make sure you are up to speed on what's happening in the markets so that you can make better decisions for your portfolio, or at minimum, sound like you follow the market without actually having to follow the market. Let's jump in. First, some context. In the last few months, we saw the release of a relatively obscure AI application called OpenClaw that took the internet by storm and has devastated the software industry. In case you don't know, OpenClaw is an open source personal AI assistant that runs on your device and can use it on your behalf. It can look at your calendar, your email, your files, and it can code and browse the web, and it can even send and receive text messages, making it feel like we are reaching what AI is supposed to be. A little personal assistant that works for you on your device 24/7. This has led to a wave of AI enthusiasts buying Mac Mini computers just to install OpenClaw so that it has its own computer that it can live in and play around in. In fact, I happen to have a few extra Mac Minis of my own laying around, so you can bet that I installed OpenClaw myself to see what all the hype is about. But I'll share my thoughts with you in just a minute on that. First, what, you thought I was just a finance creator? I'm something of a tech guy myself. Anyways, the real story here is that since OpenClaw started to gain traction in December of last year, the software sector has gotten demolished, with IGV, an ETF that tracks software companies, down 25% just in the last 3 months. And this has prompted this narrative that we are currently seeing the death of software companies. And it's not just OpenClaw that gets all the credit for this. You see, OpenClaw only exists because of the technology it was built on, in this case, Claude Code. As companies like Anthropic and OpenAI release more powerful coding tools, more and more investors are starting to believe that software companies will become obsolete, or at minimum, lose their massive advantage. After all, why pay millions of dollars per year to Salesforce or Adobe when you can build a team of AI software engineers running on Mac Minis that can build you your own custom replacement of what these companies offer? Well, I have a few problems with this, which is why I believe that this sell-off in software stocks could turn out to be a generational buying opportunity. First, AI is far less capable than the hype suggests, and as someone who has followed the space closely since the public release of ChatGPT, I can tell you from personal experience that no one is going to be building a replacement for Salesforce with a Mac Mini and a Claude API key. As I mentioned earlier, I installed OpenClaw myself on my own Mac Mini, and I have two main takeaways. The first is that this process is far more technical than many AI enthusiasts would have you believe. Much to my wife's dismay, I spent an entire weekend just getting my OpenClaw instance to run 24/7 and respond to me via iMessage. And even after I got it running, it's really just like any other LLM chatbot that you can just text back and forth with. My second takeaway from running OpenClaw myself is that many AI influencers will have you believe that they have this sentient little AI bot on their computer that is working on its own with minimal direction. But once you dig into any one of these, you'll find that they're either completely made up for engagement on social media, or at best, massive exaggerations of what is really going on behind the scenes.
So like, even I can make a bombastic statement like, this cost me $500 in credits, but like, it's the whole Picasso metaphor of like, he like draws on a napkin in 30 seconds. They're like, why are you going to charge me like 40 grand for it? It took you 30 seconds. He's like, no, it took me like 30 years to understand how to do this.
With that said, I do think LLMs are an amazing technology. And just like some of us are Excel wizards, some folks out there have built powerful workflows by stitching together multiple AI tools. But this is a far cry from building enterprise-level software from scratch with just a couple Mac Minis. However, I do want to acknowledge the substance that actually is behind the hype, because these coding tools will and are providing massive scaling capabilities to small teams of developers and software engineers. What may have taken 18 months to build in 2022 can now be built in 3 to 6 months in 2026. This has led to a number of success stories, and in fact, OpenClaw itself was built by one guy in a short period of time and apparently was his 44th vibe-coded project. But it's important to remember that while this is a game changer for startups and founders, existing software companies also have access to the same innovations. While you might be trying to figure out how to recreate Slack or Photoshop, these companies are at the same time adding powerful new AI features to their existing products. So my second point is that while having access to AI tools democratizes the ability to innovate, it's a tide that lifts all boats, including existing software companies. And this brings me to my third and final point, which is that the ability to create more and better software will lead to more and better software. And if anything, we'll see a boom in the software industry as opposed to the death of software companies. So if this isn't actually the death of software, what should we do about it? Well, one option could be to start dollar cost averaging into a software ETF like IGV, and that is certainly a viable strategy. However, I personally will hold from doing that because in my experience, the narrative of the market can often drive prices much more strongly and for longer periods of time than should be the case in reality. I would not be surprised, for example, if we saw another 10 to 20% decline in software companies or more before we see the bottom. But when this happens, investors tend to throw out the good with the bad. While there are certainly some software companies that will fail to innovate and likely fizzle out over the next 5 to 10 years, there are also many companies with truly valuable software applications and customer bases that have high switching costs. For example, this software company that is currently down 20% trades at 22 times price to earnings and pays a 1.5% dividend. And this is just one of many potential investment opportunities that I think we could see if this sell-off continues. However, traditionally I've focused on broader ETF investment strategies, so if you're interested in content about specific stocks and investment opportunities when I find them, like this one, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those videos in the future. Anyways, that's it for this week's market update on what is happening with the death of software and my thoughts on the matter. If you missed last week's update on the great rotation of 2026, which has continued to play out throughout the month, you can check that out here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.